If every movie tough guy were dropped into the same room, who's actually walking out? Most of us just pick the guy who looks coolest while walking away from an explosion. But let's be real. If you're having a 20-minute shootout in a grocery store, you're not an elite professional. You're just a loud mess with a very expensive dry cleaning bill. A true human weapon doesn't just win a fight, they solve it. Today, we're stripping away the plot armor and the cool guy walk to see who's actually efficient. We're pitting math-based punching against lethal stationary and seeing if dad strength can survive the blind precision of a master. We're looking for the perfect mix of skill and strategy. No bias, just a cold breakdown of the most dangerous people ever put on film. Starting at the bottom of our list is the man who makes murder look like a stroke of bad luck, Mike Fallon. If you want the world to believe a hit never even happened, you call the accident man. Fallon turns the darkest profession into a twisted art form. He doesn't just kill people. He stages elaborate Rube Goldberg-style mishaps that make the local coroner's job easy. While every other assassin is worried about ballistics, Fallon is obsessed with gravity, loose screws, and faulty wiring. He's the guy who can drop a ceiling fan on a target or induce a random heart attack, while everyone else in the room is just wondering why the coffee tastes funny. He's the ultimate insurance nightmare, because nobody looks for a shooter when the victim clearly just tripped on their own shoelaces. When we talk raw skill, he's a solid 7, an elite martial artist who ironically hates getting his hands dirty. For intelligence, I'm giving him an 8. The man is a walking textbook on physics and chemistry. Tactically, he's a 9, the undisputed king of using the environment as a weapon. His weakness, egomania. Fallon is addicted to his own cleverness. If a job requires a simple 5-second bullet to the head, he'll waste 5 hours trying to make it look like a freak lightning strike. In a real showdown, that hesitation is fatal. Overall, 7.5 out of 10. Fallon relies on the environment to do the work, but Brian Mills relies on the trail. He is the particular set of skills personified. While others wait for a target to appear, Mills is a bloodhound working backward from a 3-second phone call. He doesn't need high-tech satellites. He uses raw investigative tradecraft and an iron stomach for interrogation. He's the guy who tears through an entire city's underworld, not just to eliminate a threat, but to find a needle in a haystack. If you've taken something from him, he isn't just an operative, he's an inevitability. In terms of skill, I'm giving him a 7. His combat is efficient and no frills, designed to neutralize, not to show off. For intelligence, he hits an 8. His voice analysis and deductive tracking are elite. Tactically, he's an 8, a master of urban pursuit and asymmetrical psychological pressure. His weakness, tunnel vision. Mills is fueled by a specific emotional trigger. Without a personal rescue mission to maintain his momentum, his tactical patience wears thin compared to the cold career professionals on this list. Overall, 7.7 out of 10. Mills chases the scent, but Duncan Wiesla is the cold front that freezes you from a mile away. Known as the Black Kaiser, Wiesla represents the lethality of a man who has seen too much and just wants to retire. He lacks kinetic flash, opting instead for a terrifying, static patience. He's the operator who can wipe out a hit squad while tied to a chair or navigate a frozen forest with a sniper rifle like it's a morning stroll. If you're in his crosshairs, you aren't in a fight. You're just an entry in a ledger about to be closed. He proves that being over the hill only gives you a better view of the target. For skill, I'm rating him an 8. He's a world-class marksman, but his age shows when things get up close and personal. Intelligence is a 9. His experience in tradecraft and counter-ambush logic is almost peerless. Tactically, he's an 8, specializing in automated weapon systems and remote detonated traps. His weakness, physical fragility. Years of trauma have left his body brittle. He can't survive a prolonged, high-intensity brawl. He has to finish the job in seconds, or his own physical breakdown will do the enemy's work for them. Overall, 8.3 out of 10. Wiesla waits for the distance shot, but the tracker bridges the gap with a heartbeat and a howl. Known only as Mr. Nobody, he treats high-stakes contracts like a game of hide-and-seek. He ignores gadgets and government backing for a lever-action rifle, a notebook, and a highly trained Belgian Malinois. While other assassins are one-man shows, the tracker is a dual-threat unit. His dog isn't a pet. It's a biological force multiplier that flushes targets and executes takedowns with a speed no human can match. He is the ultimate opportunist, hovering on the periphery of the chaos until the price is right and the target is exhausted. For skill, he's a 7. He's a competent marksman, but he relies heavily on his tools. Intelligence is an 8, driven by high-level reconnaissance and predictive tracking. Tactically, however, he hits a 9. His 360-degree coordination with a K9 asset is a nightmare to counter. His weakness, the dependency. His entire tactical advantage is on a leash. If that dog is neutralized or separated from him, his combat efficiency craters. Without his partner, he's just a man with a rifle and a notebook. Overall, 8 out of 10. The tracker relies on his instincts and his dog, but Ethan Hunt thrives by throwing himself directly into the gears of the machine. He is the ultimate system infiltrator. While others focus on the bullet, Hunt focuses on the impossible architecture surrounding the target. He doesn't just bypass security, he outruns physics. Whether he's clinging to the fuselage of a moving plane or deep diving into a pressurized vault, his specialty is high-stakes improvisation under extreme duress. A master of disguise and technical engineering, he treats every mission like a high-speed puzzle. If your target is behind a 1,000-foot wall of glass, Hunt won't look for a door. He'll just scale the outside. In terms of skill, I'm giving him an 8. His parkour, driving, and diverse combat training are elite. Intelligence is also an 8. He's a brilliant strategist capable of solving complex problems at a dead sprint. Tactically, he hits a 9. He is the undisputed world leader in gadgetry, masks, and environmental infiltration. His weakness, adrenaline addiction. Hunt is a gambler. His reliance on living on the edge means he often defaults to the most dangerous path. One equipment failure or a split-second lapse in luck during a stunt is all it takes to end his run. Overall, 8.3 out of 10. Hunt scales the impossible to avoid a fight, but Hutch Mansell spent years hiding behind the most difficult disguise of all, a boring suburban life. He is nobody, a retired auditor for the intelligence community who spent his career deleting people the government wanted forgotten. Unlike the polished professionals, Hutch fights with a raw, pent-up ferocity. He doesn't just want to finish the job, he wants to feel the impact. He is the master of the long-game trap, capable of turning a mundane basement or a workplace into a lethal maze of claymores and tripwires. He's the guy who will let you beat him half to death just to bait you into a microwave rigged with high explosives. For skill, I'm rating him an 8. His military combat is high level, backed by an inhuman pain tolerance. Intelligence is a 7. He's an expert in deep cover tradecraft, but he's more of a blunt instrument than a genius. Tactically, he's a 10. No one on this list utilizes home field advantage or booby traps better than him. His weakness, masochism. Hutch has a visceral need for conflict. He often takes unnecessary physical damage just to feel the fight, turning what should be a clean, quiet mission into a bloody, high-risk brawl. Overall, 8.4 out of 10. Hutch Mansell relies on a basement full of traps, but Lorraine Broughton is the razor blade hidden in a block of ice. Operating in the cutthroat chaos of Cold War Berlin, she redefined what it means to take a beating and keep moving. Unlike the untouchable super spies who never break a sweat, Lorraine fights with a desperate, gritty realism. She doesn't need a tactical kit. She'll use a hot plate, a rubber hose, or a pair of high heels to survive. She is the master of the long game, navigating a web of triple crosses where her mind is just as lethal as her fists. If a mission devolves into a hallway brawl, she isn't just trying to win. She's outlasting you through sheer bloody-minded endurance. When we look at skill, she's an 8, a brutal, high-endurance brawler who weaponizes whatever is within reach. For intelligence, she hits a 9. Her ability to manage counterintelligence and manipulate her enemies is world-class. Tactically, I'm giving her a 7. She's excellent at using urban crowds to vanish, but she often lacks the heavy hardware of her peers. Her weakness, attrition. Unlike the lab-grown assassins on this list, Lorraine carries every injury. Accumulated trauma and physical exhaustion are her biggest threats. In a prolonged war, her body will eventually give out before her spirit does. Overall, 8.5 out of 10. Lorraine Broughton survives the chaos, but Arthur Bishop ensures the chaos never even starts. Bishop is the engineer. Known as the mechanic, he treats a hit like a machine that needs fixing. He doesn't rely on lucky timing. He uses meticulous preparation to ensure your world simply malfunctions. While others are busy trading blows with guards, Bishop is at the bottom of a pool with a drill or rigging a penthouse floor to shatter. He spends weeks studying your life to find the one structural flaw that can end it. If you die on his watch, the police won't even open a file. They'll just call it unfortunate. For skill, I'm giving him a 7. He's highly proficient, but he views a direct shootout as a failure of his process. Intelligence is a 9. He is a mastermind of logistics and deep cover infiltration. Tactically, he hits an 8, using chemistry and structural engineering as his primary weapons. His weakness: isolation. Bishop is a perfectionist who cannot handle unpredictable variables. He struggles when he has to protect or rely on a partner. If he isn't the one controlling every single moving part, his mechanical precision starts to grind and fail. Overall, 8.6 out of 10. Bishop engineers the malfunction from the shadows, but Robert McCall executes the audit in the light. McCall uses the math of a stopwatch. He is the ultimate home improvement nightmare, capable of turning a hardware store aisle into a graveyard in under 19 seconds. A high-functioning obsessive-compulsive, McCall views violence as a chore that must be timed and optimized. While you're planning your first move, he has already scanned the room, identified a fire extinguisher as a bludgeon, and mentally mapped the trajectory of your fall. He doesn't just eliminate you, he cleanses the environment with terrifying, quiet efficiency. When we look at skill, he's a solid 8, an elite close-quarters specialist who can weaponize anything from a book to a corkscrew. His intelligence is a 9. His photographic memory and situational processing are bordering on superhuman. Tactically, he's a 9, the undisputed king of turning everyday domestic objects into lethal traps. His weakness: rigidity. McCall is a slave to his own rituals. His obsession with timing and order can be exploited by an opponent who can break his rhythm or force him into a messy, prolonged situation where his internal clock no longer applies. Overall, rating 8.9 to 10. McCall is the precision of a stopwatch, but Deckard Shaw is the lightning strike that levels the building. If you're looking for subtlety, you've called the wrong man. Shaw is a high-speed, high-impact specialist who treats a mission like a demolition derby. He represents the peak of British Special Forces training, blending elite martial arts with a bizarre talent for weaponizing supercars and heavy machinery. While others are picking locks, Shaw is likely driving through the wall. He is a one-man army designed for high-intensity chaos, moving with a savage, kinetic energy that makes him nearly impossible to pin down or outmuscle. For skill, I'm rating him a 9. He is an elite hand-to-hand combatant and arguably the world's most dangerous wheelman. Intelligence is an 8. He has a sharp, tactical mind, even if it's usually masked by his love for explosions. Tactically, he's an 8, a specialist in high-mobility warfare and structural sabotage. His weakness: the bloodline. Shaw's protective instinct for his inner circle is his only off-switch. Threaten his family, and he'll trade every tactical advantage he has for a reckless, emotional frontal assault that leaves him wide open. Overall, 9.1 out of 10. Shaw levels the building with high-speed chaos, but Christian Wolff operates with the silence of a spreadsheet. He is the accountant for the world's most dangerous cartels, but his real talent isn't balancing books, it's balancing bodies. Wolff views a gunfight as a series of solved equations. Because of his neurodivergence, he doesn't suffer from adrenaline spikes or fear. He simply processes a room as a grid of variables and deletes them with robotic precision. While others struggle with the fog of war, Wolff finds comfort in it. He's the operator who will finish a high-stakes sniping mission and then reorganize his silverware because everything in his world, including your death, must be orderly. When we talk skill, he's a 9. His marksman abilities and surgical accuracy at long range are nearly unmatched. For intelligence, he hits a 10. His mathematical processing and pattern recognition are essentially a biological supercomputer. Tactically, he's an 8, optimizing every engagement for the maximum economy of motion. His weakness: cognitive rigidity. Wolf is a prisoner of routine. He needs to finish the task to function. If a situation becomes nonsensical, or if the objective becomes too vague to quantify, he can suffer a cognitive logjam that leaves him momentarily paralyzed. Overall, 9.3 out of 10. Wolf calculates the variables from a distance, but Jack Reacher just walks through the front door and breaks the shooter's hand. Reacher is what happens when you combine a forensic investigator with a freight train. He doesn't use gadgets or high-tech gear, he uses physics and basic geometry. He's the operator who solves a 5-on-1 fight in his head before the first punch is thrown, calculating exactly how to use one guy's skull to break another guy's ribs. He doesn't just hit hard, he hits with a mathematical certainty that renders fighting fair irrelevant. If most assassins are scalpels, Reacher is a wrecking ball with a PhD. When it comes to skill, I'm giving him an 8. He's a master of brutal, efficiency-based brawling and military marksmanship. For intelligence, he hits a 9. His deductive reasoning and rapid tactical analysis are top tier. Tactically, he's a 7. He's an expert at using mass, momentum, and environmental geometry, but he isn't exactly subtle. His weakness: velocity. His massive frame makes him a slower target. Against a high-agility opponent who can dance around his reach, Reacher can be outmaneuvered if he doesn't end the fight in the first 3 seconds. Overall, 9.4 out of 10. If you think you already know who the top 3 are, hit that subscribe button and drop your guess in the comments. Let's see if your logic holds up. Reacher dominates through physical geometry, but Kane has turned a total sensory deficit into his greatest weapon. He is the ultimate proof that sight is a distraction for a true master. Kane doesn't just navigate the battlefield, he maps it through sound, vibration, and motion sensors. While other assassins rely on what they see, he operates on a frequency they can't even perceive. He's the operator who can clear a room of armed guards while casually eating noodles, using a cane sword with surgical precision. He doesn't need light, he doesn't need a scope, and he certainly doesn't need to see your face to end your life. For skill, I'm giving him a 9. He is an unrivaled swordsman and a marksman whose accuracy defies biology. Intelligence is an 8. His spatial awareness and sensory processing are nearly supernatural. Tactically, he's an 8, utilizing environmental noise and sonic tools to track targets with haunting precision. His weakness: sensory overload. Kane's radar is his lifeline. High-frequency noise or chaotic sonic environments can scramble his perception, leaving him momentarily blind in a world he can no longer hear. Overall, 9.5 out of 10. Kane operates on sound and shadow. But what happens when you strip away the prep time and the fancy chemistry? You get Jason Bourne. If the others are surgeons, Bourne is a human multi-tool. He doesn't need to rig a room or poison a drink. He just needs to look around for 3 seconds. He is the undisputed king of weaponizing the mundane. While an elite squad is checking their corners, Bourne has already calculated the wind speed, identified how to kill them with a ballpoint pen, and memorized every license plate in the parking lot. He is a pure survival engine, an operative who can start with absolutely nothing and still be the most dangerous person in the building. For skill, he's a 9. The man is a ghost in close quarters and can turn a rolled-up magazine into a lethal weapon. Intelligence is also a 9. His situational awareness and rapid information processing are essentially instinctive. Tactically, he's a 9, a master of urban evasion who uses public crowds to disappear in plain sight. His weakness: psychological fragmentation. Bourne is a broken machine. Fractured memories and a glitching moral compass often force him to hesitate. He'll stop to seek answers or redemption when a cold professional would have already reached the exit. Overall, 9.7 out of 10. Bourne weaponizes the chaos of the moment, But Agent 47 is a biological delete button that ensures the chaos never happens. He is the ultimate result of genetic engineering, designed to strip away human clutter, like fear and guilt. While others are shopping for tactical vests, 47 is already in your house, dressed as your private chef, seasoning your steak with cyanide. His greatest weapon isn't a firearm, it's social engineering. He doesn't hide in the shadows, he hides in plain sight. He's the ghost who walks into a high-security bunker as a janitor and leaves as a VIP, leaving a tragic accident in his wake. To him, your entire world is just a collection of lethal variables. For skill, I'm giving him an 8. He's a master of every weapon known to man, but he prefers his targets unaware. Intelligence is a 9. His ability to calculate exit routes and guard rotations in real time is flawless. Tactically, he's a 10. The gold standard for environmental manipulation and the art of the disguise. His weakness, the controlled environment. 47 is a surgeon, not a street fighter. If his perfect plan shatters and he's forced into a loud, sustained brawl against a powerhouse who thrives in chaos, he loses his primary advantage, the element of surprise. Overall, 9.8 out of 10. Agent 47 ensures you never see the end coming. But John Wick is the nightmare you see from a mile away and simply can't stop. He is
Baba Yaga. He was the one you sent to kill the fucking boogeyman.
Wick doesn't bother with elaborate social engineering or hidden traps. He relies on a terrifying volume of fire and a focus that borders on the supernatural. He pioneered Gun Fu, a brutal intersection of Japanese jiu-jitsu and point-blank marksmanship that treats a firearm like a surgical tool. While other assassins search for a clever exit, Wick carves one by removing every living obstacle in the building. He is the only operative on this list who can turn a library book or a pencil into a legendary crime scene. For skill, he is the 10, the absolute gold standard for firearm efficiency and close-quarters grappling. Intelligence is a 7. He's highly disciplined, but he's driven by singular, narrow objectives rather than complex strategy. Tactically, he's an 8, a master of body armor utilization and reloading under extreme pressure. His weakness, human biology. Despite his willpower, Wick is strictly meat and bone. He survives through sheer momentum, but he is a magnet for damage. Enough blunt force trauma and cumulative blood loss will eventually slow his engine to a permanent halt. Overall, 9.9 out of 10. That concludes our breakdown. Before we wrap this up, who did I miss? If you think the Equalizer deserves the top spot over the Baba Yaga, or if you believe Bourne would have outcalculated Agent 47, drop your logic in the comments. I'm looking for first principles, not fanboyism. At the end of the day, these 16 individuals represent different answers to the same question. How do you survive the impossible? Whether it's through the robotic precision of Christian Wolfe, the architectural sabotage of Arthur Bishop, or the sheer bloody-minded willpower of John Wick, the common thread is clear. The most dangerous person in the room isn't the one with the biggest gun. It's the one who understands the environment, ignores the distractions, and treats a life-or-death struggle like a solved equation. In this ranking, efficiency beats flair every time, because in a world of high-stakes professionals, being cool is just a liability that gets you killed. Being effective is the only thing that brings you home. Thanks for watching. Next time, we're looking at a different kind of power. Until then, stay sharp.